Thank you, sir. Lastly, please can I call on Mr. Ron of Mainstream Renewable Power Developments SA Limited? Thank you. Please stay on the stage, and I request all of your colleagues that have just signed, together with the teams that have drafted this and produced this agreement, to join us here, please, for a group photograph. Now that you have committed yourselves for 20 to 30 years to generate electricity for the people of South Africa. Please, over here. Yes, please. We can pretend we're happy while we do it. How's this going to work? Maybe it's better here. What do you think, colleagues?
Yes.
Please come this side so we can avoid the screen. I thought we had some Eskom people as well.
One step forward.
Please, Eskom.
These are bars.
Okay, we've got 2 minutes. Thank you, colleagues. Now that you have other people committing to end load shedding, you've seen their faces. It's not just me and Andre Rulani. All these honorable South Africans and corporate citizens have just committed themselves to help increase available supply and will do so constantly for the next 30 years. You don't know too much about all of the bidders, so now that they have indeed committed themselves, I'm going to request themselves to come and introduce them here one by one, in the order in which they signed the agreement. Nicholas, please give us a few words and introduce your company, and you will be followed by Sharif Harris in that order until Mr. Ron has spoken. Then I will come back. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Nicolas Lecomte, 20 years in the renewables, 10 years in Africa, and I'm leading HDF activities in Southern and East Africa. This is an exciting day, a day of celebration. I will, you may see a visual of our development in Namibia. I will talk about the technology, I will talk about HDF. HDF is hydrogen of France. We have brought to maturity a new type of power plant, which is called the renewable. It's a combination of renewables as primary sources of electricity and green hydrogen as a storage component to deliver power 24/7, day and night, all year round. When you look at that visual, and I choose the Namibian project because it's close by, it's being developed, we are well advanced in the development. It looks like a PV farm, but actually the service will be more comparable to a diesel generator, a gas power plant, or a coal power plant. And so HDF is developing and constructing that technology in 20 plus countries. And now in South Africa, in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga has been part of HDF vision before this tender. But this tender has been the opportunity for us to start materializing the vision. Today, and what is ahead of us, is a phase of development of projects. But today, we are achieving a key milestone in that development with the land agreements being signed with Eskom. So, for those projects, we need just a bit of patience, but we'll go as fast as we can. At the same time, we'll contribute to solving the electricity crisis, contributing to the just energy transition, but also with these projects, and we are talking about 6 parcels for HDF, which is amounts around 30% of the allocation. We are looking at a massive cluster of green hydrogen projects, possibly the first one to be materialized in Africa and the largest. So we are ready to move forward. It's happening in Mpumalanga. This is HDF, green hydrogen, just energy revolution. Thank you.
Will you be putting up my presentation? Hi, I'm Sharif Harris. I'm the head of development for Red Rocket, and we are so proud to be part of this venture and the first of its kind in the country, possibly globally as well. And we'd like to congratulate the Eskom team on what they've achieved here today by being steadfast in what they've been trying to achieve and bringing to the country something completely different. presentation about who Red Rocket is and who Eskom will be partnering for the next 25 to 30 years as one of their potential partners. We started out as an Italian EPC contractor for solar PV plants in around 2010 and branched out into the South African renewable energy space in 2011 with the release of the first round of the REITP procurement program that's run by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. And in 2020, we did a management buyout of the African and Middle East business of building energy, together with our partners Inspired Evolution through the Evolution 2 fund, and that became now what's known today as Red Rocket. And Red Rocket considers the development, the design, the EPC for engineering and procurement and construction for solar PV plants. We do operation and maintenance as well, and also the asset management of projects throughout Africa. And this is just a slide on what we believe are the key objectives of Red Rocket. So we want to create the right team with the right organization. We're quite a young team with probably the average age of about 40. And we have the strategy to know where we're going. We feel that we understand the market quite well, and we've been quite successful in the African market. And we have quite a successful business model, as you'll see later on. So our strategic goals is to have a functional business model and with developing high quality developments throughout Africa. And we always looking to be on top of our game and wanting to be better, to better ourselves and to do better projects, always looking to optimize where we can. And we always strive to create synergies and alliances so that we can create value to all the stakeholders involved in our various projects. And we use quite intensive LCOE model, which is the levelized cost of energy, to bring to our stakeholders the best value for our projects. And we also put a lot of emphasis on the growth of our people. So we have quite significant programs in place to allow our employees to grow throughout the value chain of the company. So our numbers, we are reaching the 1 gigawatt of renewable energy projects across Africa. Those countries include South Africa, which is our main hub for South Africa. And we have projects operational in Uganda. We are moving to financial close in projects in Zambia, in Namibia, Mali, and Eswatini as well. And we've been awarded more than 20 projects in over 8 countries across the continent. And we have 78 people based in our Cape Town office. That doesn't include the site people. So our presence in Africa, we've been awarded for 2 50 megawatt PV plants in Egypt, but that was later sold because the market was quite tough at the time. And we have 1 50 megawatt project, solar PV project in Mali that's moving to financial close as we speak. Our PPA and concession agreement was signed in the last couple of weeks. We have a 10 megawatt PV plant operating in Uganda in the Tororo district. We have 2 20 megawatt PV plants that are moving to financial close under the Get Fit program run by KfW in Zambia. We also have a private offtake opportunity that was awarded in Namibia, moving to financial close. And in South Africa alone, we've been awarded up to REITP round 5 over 750 megawatts across wind, solar, and hydro projects. And we have another small 10 megawatt PV plant going to financial close in Eswatini as well. So this is just a slide on our operational and project at financial close. This is our flagship project. the Katu solar PV plant that was awarded under round one of the RAIBP, and Red Rocket, or Golden Energy at the time, played the role as developer. We owned a stake in the project. We did the EPC in joint venture with WHO, and we also do the operation and maintenance as well in joint venture with Guma. And our partners in the project were Old Mutual, Macquarie, and a local community trust. Our 10 megawatt PV plant in Uganda that reached commercial operations in September 2017, and we are the 100% owner of that plant. We developed it from scratch. We were awarded under the GetFit program as well. And we do the EPC, we do the O&M, and we do the asset management as well. This is our small hydro project in the Free State between Bethlehem and Clarence that we co-developed with a local developer, Sigara, and we own the majority stake in this project. We did the EPC for the project, which was quite complicated, being a hydro and out of our usual scope of work, but we do the operation and maintenance and asset management for that plant as well. And then another one of our flagship projects, our first wind farm in South Africa, on the border of the Western Cape and the Northern Cape. It's a 147 megawatt wind farm that recently reached commercial operations in the first quarter of 2022. And for that, we co-developed with G7, and we are the majority owner, and we do the asset management for that project as well. And then our project has financial close under round 5. We won 364 megawatts, and we have another 300 megawatts of wind farms in South Africa going to financial close with private off-takers. And we have our Bedford and project in Bali as well. So, getting to the nitty-gritty of the Eskom land parcels that we've been awarded. So we've been awarded for one of the two sites, that's Northern and Southern Dwas, was the name that Eskom gave to us. It's about 20 km northeast of Standerton. So these are the three portions of land that we were awarded, and those are the remaining, or portion of the remaining extent of portion 3 of Dwasin Event 350, a portion of portion 6 of Dwasin Event 350, and portion 7 of Dwasin Event. So it's foreseen that we will develop a 2 by 150 megawatt cluster of solar PV projects. The land size is 568 hectares, and the solar irradiation is quite good for Mpumalanga. It's been an area that we've been trying to get into for quite a long time, so we really appreciate this opportunity from Eskom to roll out and release land to partners within the country. So these are the foreseen developable areas of the sites where we believe that we can fit around 300 megawatts between the two projects. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good day. Yeah, my name is Ruben Maroa, and I represent the Solar Group. Just navigate a bit here. Thank you. I'll keep this brief, but I would like to just use this opportunity to speak a bit about the Solar Group and our track record, as well as to thank Eskom for this opportunity to participate in this landmark tender to develop 2 land parcels in Mpumalanga for renewable energy projects. As a company, we are 100% local and 40% black-owned, fully vertically integrated independent power producer that specializes in corporate power purchase agreements in South Africa. We have been operational since 2008, and the company is 60% owned by the founders and staff of the group, and 40% by African Rainbow Energy Partners. We've got a deep track record of delivering renewable energy projects in South Africa, with over 1 gigawatt of projects completed to date. Just a few things I'd like to highlight about the company relevant to this transaction we just entered into today. As a company, we were the first in South Africa to fully execute a corporate power purchase agreement with Weaving, and we have recently reached financial close of 2 separate 100 megawatt projects in the Northwest Province. These projects are currently under construction. So, with our proven track record of developing and implementing projects in the country and our network of existing clients, we really look forward to taking up this opportunity to develop projects on Eskom land in the Mpumalanga province. We have existing smaller projects in the province and larger projects elsewhere in the country. However, this will be our first large-scale projects in Mpumalanga. Therefore, once again, on behalf of the Solar Group, I would like to say thank you to Eskom for the opportunity and the team for the engagements to date, and we look forward to taking this project further. I thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the team of Eskom. My name is Geesie Theron. I'm a Senior Developer Manager at the South African Mainstream Renewable Power Development. I would like this opportunity to thank Eskom for awarding the lease agreements for development to Mainstream Renewable Power. We are very excited to be part of this initiative, which will now be explored through a series of detailed feasibility studies. The awarded projects will focus strongly on energy provision and unlocking South Africa's just energy transition program, as endorsed by the Presidential Climate Change Commission and Eskom. Who are Mainstream? Mainstream is a leading pure-play renewable energy company with wind and solar assets across global markets, including in Latin America, Africa, and Asia Pacific. Mainstream is one of the most successful developers of gigawatt-scale renewables platforms across onshore and offshore wind and solar power generation. It has successfully delivered 6.5 gigawatts of wind and solar. Should we give you a moment? over, but I'll just go 1 or 2 sentences back. Okay, Mainstream Power is a leading pure-play renewable energy company with wind and solar assets across global markets, including Latin America, Africa, and Asia Pacific. Mainstream is one of the most successful developers of gigawatt-scale renewable platforms across onshore and offshore and solar power generation. It has successfully delivered 6.5 gigawatt of wind and solar generation assets to financial close ready and has a global project portfolio of over 27 gigawatts. In May of last year, Aker Horizons acquired a majority stake in Mainstream, and in April of this year, Mitsui joined Aker Horizons as a long-term strategic investor. In August of this year, a transaction to integrate Aker Offshore Wind into the Mainstream Group was completed. Mainstream has raised more than €3 billion in project finance to date. Since January 2021, Mainstream has grown its team from 335 to over 700 employees across 5 continents. More about Mainstream South Africa. In South Africa, Mainstream is the most successful company in the history of the country's renewable energy procurement program, with over 2.1 gigawatt awarded to date. This includes 850 megawatts of wind and solar generation assets that Mainstream has already delivered into the commercial operation across round 1, 3, 4. In 2021, Mainstream was awarded preferred bidder status in round 5 of the program with a total capacity of 1.27 gigawatt across wind and solar technologies. This gives you an idea of the different projects and the various rounds. Round 1, we developed, constructed and sold 1 wind farm, Jeffreys Bay, and 2 solar farms, Doornfontein and De Haar. Round 3, we developed, constructed and retained shareholding in 3 farms, Luriesfontein, Cobab and Noupoort. Round 5, we developed, constructed and retained shareholding in 2 farms, Kamnas and Parakraal East near Ceres. Round 5, 1.27 gigawatt of projects are being progressed. Work continues across all key areas, grid finance, in order to secure financial close. We obtained 6 solar and 6 wind projects in round 5. Then we also stretched over Africa in terms of the Pan-African platform, the Kela Power. This slide shows that Mainstream has developed its own global development standard, which refine the process how we develop projects from inception through to development, construction and operations. To conclude, as one of the most established and successful renewable energy companies in South Africa, Mainstream is proud to support Eskom in its initiative to expedite the connection of large quantities of much needed, clean, affordable power to the grid as part of the just transition to renewable energy. We look forward to delivering renewable power at scale at this site, and in doing so help to industrialize the renewable energy sector in South Africa, bringing thousands of needed jobs as well as long-term benefits to the surrounding communities. Thank you very much.
If I need any comment about the chaos that was here earlier, and the fact that there was a lady here, you start writing stories about me. So I leave it at that. Colleagues, I know you have a lot of questions on the media, so we are going to deal with them now. and Orlando Matebula will then come and make his closing remarks. Teresa, do we have any questions? Can you read them out for us, please? Thank you.
Yes,
And we have roving mics that our new partners will have to answer some of their questions. Do you guys want the people to come here now or sit there? So they must all come here. I don't think that's going to work.
Come there, please.
Come there.
Your mic.
Just the answers for me.
The answers, yeah, from there.
Yes.
Okay, please, Teresa.
Okay, so we have 3 questions. The first one is from Angela Coppola from CGTN TV, and he would like to know when will the first electricity be produced and by whom? Will Eskom have first right of refusal? And the second question is from Denise Erasmus from the Business Day. She'd like to know what will be the total generation capacity to be installed by these 4 companies. It was announced earlier that there were 18 successful bidders in this first round. Do these 4 companies represent all 18 of these winning bids? And the last question is from Teresa Smith. She is from ESI Africa, and she'd like to know any details on sizes of power plants and type of power, that is solar or wind, etc.
Thank you, Teresa. And those are all the questions, am I correct? Andre?
Right, Andre?
Just a second, please. Do you guys want him here?
Yeah, but we should have sound from there, so you have to do it from the...
Okay.
We estimate that the first electricity will be generated within the next 24 to 36 months. I know everyone in South Africa is impatient to see an end to load shedding, but unfortunately these projects do take time. We are working with the Department of Fishery, Forestry and the Environment on accelerating environmental impact assessments through the NAT joints and National Electricity Crisis Committee announced by the President on the 25th of July. So we look forward to working with these developers to accelerate approval processes, land zoning processes, so that we can remove as many obstacles as possible. I think it's in the national interest that we do so, and we certainly have significant support from Operation Vulindlela, located in the presidency, to do exactly this. So we're quite bullish that we can work with the developers to really accelerate and put our foot on the pedal and make things happen as quickly as possible. We don't have a first right of refusal. It is our understanding, because we're not getting involved in the commercial arrangements where this electricity will be sold to. So these are, our understanding, bilateral agreements with private sector customers. And there is an opportunity, particularly with the hydrogen plant, to also offer ancillary services, and in particular black start facility services, to our system operator. And that is something that we are going to be exploring, because that obviously saves Eskom capital and makes the grid more stable. These will all be done through transparent commercial arrangements, so no underhand dealing. I can give you reassurance of that. Denise, in answer to your question, we will we worked initially on an estimate of about 2,000 megawatts. Now, Eskom engineers are famously conservative. We are of the view that what we're going to see is something significantly bigger than that. But we must allow the developers to now go and do detailed studies, to do detailed designs, to understand exactly what is best suited, which technologies are most appropriate for land that is available, and once that process is completed, then we will be able to determine the exact amount of megawatts that will be available. It's safe to say that it's at least 2,000 megawatts, which of course goes a long way to filling up the 4 to 6 gigawatts that Eskom has been saying for the past 3 years or so that we require. The 18 successful bidders, it wasn't quite 18 successful bidders, there were 18 land parcels on which there were 18 bids submitted. The 4 companies represented here today bid on a number of these parcels, and these were allocated based on our adjudication criteria. And we are therefore comfortable that we have here are credible developers that I think, as you will have seen from their presentations, have an established track record in delivering on renewable energy projects, not only globally but also in South Africa. So we really look forward to bringing that expertise to bear. I can maybe just add that there is a use it or lose it clause. So historically what we've seen is that IPPs have tended to buy land with grid access and for whatever reason then not develop those projects, thereby sterilizing potential grid access. In this instance, because we have elected to lease the land and not sell the land, we retain a measure of control that if these developers, and we're not suggesting for a minute that they won't develop, if they don't, then we have the right to take the land to someone else who can make use of that grid access. So we don't want to sell, we want to lease so that we can have a measure of control to ensure that in fact within a period of 3 years we see certain milestone developments being reached to make sure that these projects actually proceed. Teresa, I think I've answered your question in terms of the sizes and types of technology. What I would suggest is that you also engage with the individual developers who can give you far more detail on what they envisage and the technologies that they intend to deploy. From an Eskom perspective, we're not being prescriptive as long as it is renewable energy and as long as it is done in a certain time frame. We are very happy to be the facilitator of private investment into Mpumalanga, conservatively estimated to be at least 40 billion rand over the next couple of years. So I think that's a great demonstration of the fact that in spite of assurances by the renewable energy industry that the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow in Mpumalanga, that is in fact not true. Mpumalanga has grid access, it's got natural resources, but most importantly, it's got people who are eagerly looking forward to the job opportunities that will be created by these investments. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you for the questions, colleagues. I was hoping there would be some questions for our developers. I must say that they are not Mafikizoros, as you will see from the profiles that they put up here. Rodani Matebula is the Managing Director of the Generation Division, and they will be building these projects on his power stations. Welcome, Rodani. Please give us a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks, Program Director Sikonati. I guess this marks the end of this session, and I want to take the opportunity to appreciate Andre and the Eskom executive, as well as our new, I hear they call themselves partners. I have a challenge with that, I might not be able to collect my rent. So let's stick to tenants. But congratulations once more to the successful bidders, HFD, Red Rocket, Solar Group, as well as the South African Ministry Renewable power development. Welcome on board, and we're looking forward for any words coming from your plans. And as Andres indicated, it's the most needed commodity at this point in time in South Africa. We appreciate the team that has been behind this project and who has brought this to this end. And we're looking forward as well to the next project that will be embarked upon. And thanks again to the media team that has graced us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rolani. You can see I'm not adjusting the mic. We are on low suspension. Colleagues, this was all made possible during the last 8 months by Eskom teams managing the properties, by teams that were also led by Andrew Etzner. And this is the end of this occasion. I'm going to request you colleagues, the Eskom teams that have been working on this, to please join Andre, Andrew, and Rolani all here for a group photo. And we shall see all of you colleagues when we meet again over the next few weeks. And yes, let's confirm this again. Eskom will not be guaranteeing a cent of any of these investments. These partners that you've seen in all the bid windows have been participating in South Africa, will bring their own funds, and they will also bring their own customers. For the first time, you and I, the taxpayers, will not be required to put up a cent to guarantee these, but we can look forward to an additional at least 2,000 megawatts. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a nice weekend. Please do join us from here, and then the partners can join us for a group photo as well. Thank you. 2 minutes.
It seems like certain parcels have not been allocated. You have to please. We got 6. Yeah. 9 plus 5. Then be 14 and not 8. And maybe no one liked the one. First one was a bit difficult, so maybe no one. Oh, okay.